Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tru. I'm here with Domo and Albert.
What's up?
What's up, everybody?
We have a great guest.
Who's our great guest, Domo?
We have the owner of the Eighth brand, Mr. White Boy Rick.
The new mayor of Detroit is in the building. What's up, Rick?
What's going on?
Nothing, man. We appreciate you coming by. We know you're out here for the, what is it? The
MJ Biz.
MJ BizCon.
I appreciate you guys having me.
Thank you very much, man. So tell us about this this product that you got and when it all came to fruition and what made you even want to be in the cannabis business to begin with.
I had read about it a lot in prison and I did a lot of reading in there and the benefits of, the seizures that it was preventing in kids and, the good that can be done with cannabis, I guess attracted me to it. So, and my brand, the Eighth, is based on your Eighth Amendment, which is the ban on cruel and unusual punishment, excessive fine, excessive bail.
Wow.
So we got the handcuff logo designed by Brad, and he did a great job for us. And it means a lot to me, man. I was sentenced to life without parole, to the rest of my natural life, actually, for a drug crime that I committed when I was 17. My friend was 16, and he was sentenced to the rest of his natural life. And we're both out now. We're both doing well. We're both in the cannabis space. We're doing good things and positive things for our communities.
So does it still kind of feel good a little bit that cannabis was the drug game, so you're still kind of in the drug game, but legally now?
No comment.
we're no more drug game.
No more drug. Weed isn't drug anymore.
Yeah,
weed
weed's
is
not a drug.
medicine.
Weed is legal. I just wish I would have been a part of it, man. I had so many friends telling me about this for years and where this thing was going, and I don't know why. I just never.
Too late.
I know.
Yeah.
Never too late.
Never too late.
Jump in, bro.
Yeah. No, and I heard Michigan. I heard Michigan's. What do you think about? Is it? I keep hearing it's flooded out there now.
It is. I mean,
Can you hit that timer, please? You got the remote right there. All right, go ahead.
we gave out a few too many licenses up there, and the governor is looking at maybe putting a moratorium on the licenses that are issued, and I think that's a good thing. I think once a market becomes oversaturated, you tend to start hurting everybody, and when you hurt everybody, a lot of good is done through cannabis in our community.
Yes.
Like, I was able to give a kid a brand new handicap van, mostly due to the cannabis community that I reached out to, and they helped me, and we gave this kid a brand new $90,000 van. We just sent 90 foster kids, or almost 90 foster kids, to summer camp. So that's one of the things that I love the most about this industry, is that my friends believe in me, and if I call them with a cause, that they're right there to give back to that cause.
So what year was it that you got out?
I got out July 20th of 2020.
Of 2020, and when did you get into the cannabis?
About a year after that.
About a year after. Okay. Yeah. No, I just remember when it came. Especially being in Michigan. I think prior to me departing from Michigan, I remember them saying I used to live on 10 acres, and they were offering like some kind of schools, like, hey, if you have acreage, we'll teach you to be growers, and I mean they were really pushing that. And I just, like I said, weed just wasn't my thing. I knew it was doing a lot of good things, and I just can't believe how much it's like taken off now. Like it's insane. So who was the person that, you said you studied up on it yourself, or did you have a friend that?
Well, I did a lot of reading, and as I was in there, a lot of my friends, became involved in cannabis. Kevin Hanna being one of them. Kevin was the one who was sentenced to life when he was 16.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of like a little brother to me. He's a little younger than me, but we keep in close contact pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And he's out of San Diego now, so we do good things together,
Yeah, and I mean, I just can't believe, like even the people now that I know that are still in prison over cannabis charges, like I just don't understand it. Like, how are they not out? Like what's going on that, that now this is legal and all these people are just, stuck there. I mean, I keep hearing that, they're eventually letting people out, but I'm like, they should have been let out from day one. Day one it became legal. Why not?
Prisons are a business, bro.
Yeah,
it's not really about the crime you committed. Like, if you read historically, prisons were built for violent offenders. They weren't built for some kid that was selling weed or trying to make a little living through a nonviolent crime. They were built for, murderers, armed robbers, rapists, child molesters. And we've gotten away from that. And prison has become such this big thriving industry that it's more about making money off of people at the lowest point of their life, charging their mom extra for a phone call, selling them a ramen noodle soup for 75 cents. It's not about rehabilitation. And it's sad. The
That
country
is,
we live
yeah.
in, you know, we say we're the most humane country in the world. But if you really look at it, we're the only country in the world that ever gave juveniles life for anything other than murder.
Wow, that's crazy. No, I know, like, you know, the difference, the Michigan laws as compared to what goes on here in Vegas are night and day. But I just, you know, me and Domo here, we had a friend catch a murder charge just on a crazy night, and you know, he's looking at 12 years. So it's like I see that, and then I'm like, how can somebody, you know, especially as a juvenile, you know, everybody makes mistakes, whether it's selling drugs or doing anything. But like, how do they hold that person, you know, to that's going to be the same person 20 years from now? You know, it's to me, it's just very, you know, it's just inhumane, and I don't know who, you know, who makes these decisions, and
It makes you wonder, like the people that would think about putting a child, because until you're 25 or 26, like your brain isn't even fully developed.
yeah,
The prefrontal cortex of your brain, especially in a male, we're a little slower than women, as much as I don't want to admit that. So,
Sure.
but it's not even developed fully in a male until 26, 27 years of age. So,
Yeah.
but, you know, recently I had to get a document, and Dana Hathaway, the judge from the documentary that tried to give me my life back, and she was stopped 5 years earlier than when I was released. She sent me a document, and it said sentenced to natural life. And I happened to be in Miami at the time when I received that text with the picture. And to be honest with you, it kind of ruined my trip, because I looked at it over and over and over. And I happened to be out with a friend of mine, and he knew it was bothering me. And he was like, this doesn't look like you did the rest of your natural life. You know, we're in live.
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, we're living good, bro.
So when you got out, you went to Miami? Is that where you went first?
Yeah, the second day I was home, I went to Miami.
Wow, what got you back to Michigan?
That's my home. It's where I do, you know, I work for the community as much as I can there. It's, you know, where my family is, where a lot of my friends are. But I go back and forth. I love both cities. Miami's always my second home.
I heard you said you had a girlfriend. Is she from Miami or Detroit?
No, Detroit.
Detroit. Got it. And when did you meet her after?
No, I've
getting-
known her since I was 12 years old.
Oh, wow. So she stuck with you through the whole.
We were friends the whole time. She's a good girl.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
Real good.
And where were you at? Were you in Michigan, or did they ship you to
I was
another
in
state?
Michigan, Arizona, Florida, all over.
What was your favorite? was there a favorite?
There actually was. It's funny you said that.
Is there a favorite?
Arizona.
Arizona.
Oh,
I have to
Really?
say Arizona, bro. The federal prison in Arizona
Listen.
was like the best prison I was ever in.
Yeah.
So shout out to FCI Phoenix.
You gave a Yelp review.
Yeah, shout out to FCI Phoenix.
Yeah, that'd actually be funny if they did have a Yelp and you put a review on there. That shit would be epic.
If you're going to prison and you can get there, get to FCI Phoenix.
I have a question. How did it feel seeing like social media and like the cell phones and kind of like
Well, I got to get out. I was in a halfway house for about 10 months.
Okay.
So it really helped me get acclimated. You know, like I'll never forget the first day I got I think it was an iPhone 8 at the time. And I didn't know how to turn it on.
No, that's
And so I grabbed this young kid that was there, and he's like, "What's up?" And he's calling me old school, and I'm like, "Old school." And he's like, "What's up, old school?" I'm like, "Yo, come here, bro." He's like, "What?" I said, "I'm gonna give you $100. You're gonna take me to school." And
yeah.
he's like, "What do you want to?" What? I said, "Teach me how to work this phone, man." And he goes, "You don't gotta pay me, bro." And I said, "No, I'm gonna pay you, man. Take me to school." And like in a day, he had me working this phone that was so intimidating to me.
Right.
yeah. I can't. So what was outside of a phone? What would you say is the craziest thing you saw that you were just? I mean, cars had to change,
Oh, yeah,
TVs had to change.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you know, when I left, a 50-inch TV was $4,000, $5,000. So, you know, I get out and
And was it the
It's-
big box?
oh yeah, I had them in every room. I took down walls to get those TVs in my bedroom. My dad used to think I was crazy. I'm like, yo, knock this wall down to put the TV in. He's like, bro, are you crazy? I'm like,
Yeah.
I want it in my room.
No, I mean, I remember, I think I was telling you before, when flat screens first came out, they were Pioneer, and, they were like 10, 20 grand. And that's what I was buying them. And then now you're seeing these TVs are $500.
Bro, I just seen a 75-inch for like $550.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, look how cheap. I just wanted to buy one to buy it.
What was, what would you say, so I know, just so you know, if you're ever here in Vegas, you're not going to go to jail, but if anybody does, shout out to the Henderson. You want to go to jail in Henderson over Las Vegas, night and day. Yeah. But so I was, for just being in there just on some dumb like DUI type of shit, all I kept thinking about was food. So was there anything that you were like, especially coming from Detroit, where you like, fuck, I got to get this, man? Like,
I was able to get some decent meals while I was in there.
Oh, really?
Good. You can figure ways around everything if you have a little bit of money.
Wow, that's good. So. Yeah, no, it was funny. Somebody actually told me, they were like, because, I was like, man, I can't imagine getting out and, just cell phones, TVs, and they're like, they have all that shit in prison. You have access.
I can sit here and tell you, I honestly never touched a cell phone in prison.
But people have them,
people,
right?
absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
But me, the only reason I never touched it was because I didn't know how to work it.
Right.
So for me, I always looked like if they catch this phone, they're going to see the numbers in it and I'm going to be fucked. So dude was like, yo, just use my phone. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. Just give me a stamp. I wouldn't,
give me a pigeon.
Things that I didn't know how to control, I really wouldn't partake in.
Yeah, I always said, when you're in a jail, they'll have those phones and they'll be like, all right, this phone over here is the attorney phone. They can't. I'm like, bro, that's the biggest. That's the.
Trust me.
Yeah,
bro,
actually, I was watching a story on Chapo, and they were talking about they sent some people came in as visitors, and they bugged the visitor sticker.
Oh yeah,
and I was like,
actually,
the name tag.
Actually, one of my friends that was like a huge high roller here in Vegas. God bless him. He's dead now. Jimmy Chagra. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but him and his brothers were like the godfathers of Vegas in the 70s, bro. And Jimmy ended up with a case, and they bugged the visiting passes when they went in.
Yeah. No, I heard that, and I was like, holy.
You should read up on them, and one day do a little show to them out here, the Chagra brothers, bro. And I don't know the whole story, and I don't want to go into it because respectfully for the people's family, but a federal judge was actually murdered over their case, Judge Woods. So it's a pretty famous case.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely check that out. And I saw you, it said you had some kids?
Yeah, I have 3 kids.
3 kids.
I have 3 kids. I have really 4. I have another girl that's like a daughter to me. So 3 or 4 kids, as I say, but I have 2 girls and a boy.
Did you have these before?
Yeah, absolutely.
You went in? Yeah. So they get out, they're adults.
Yeah, absolutely.
How was that?
That was hard, It's my kids grew up without a father, bro. And so, most kids that grow up in broken homes, they don't do too well. My son went to University of Michigan, got a 4-year degree, he's doing well in life. My daughters got married and, are going on with their lives, but I have 6 beautiful grandkids.
Wow, so that's a hand. So that was probably they all lived in Michigan the whole time, right?
My oldest daughter's in Indiana.
So was it harder when they shipped you out to these Arizonas and these other things? Harder for people to come visit, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And what are their age range? They're all full adults, right? 21 and up.
They're bro, you put me on the spot.
I know.
I think my oldest daughter's 37, and my son will be 35. And my youngest daughter's 34. She was born when I left.
Oh, wow. So what did they think? Was that quite a reunion getting out? I mean,
it was, good to see him. I left. My mom was, 44 years old. So I came home older than her, but and my dad was gone. So that was a difficult thing.
So your mom's still around?
Yeah, my mom's
and your
here,
dad passed when. So did they do anything for you when you're in there when a parent?
They don't do shit for you, bro.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, I used to think, and I think I just heard this kind of shit in movies, but where they'd say, oh, if you're in prison and somebody passes away, they'll give you that pass or whatever to get out.
Most of that's fake, bro.
Yeah, no, I believe.
What they tell society about prison, I'm not trying to down the people that are running it or anything, but our system needs a lot of work, bro. And what they tell society about our prison system, most of it's fake.
Well, what I see here that goes on in Vegas, and it's absolutely unbelievable to me. Like, you know, I was telling her, like, here versus Detroit. You know, people come out here on vacation and they're getting fucked up, getting caught with 8 balls, ounces, whatever. And they know you ain't ever going to come back to your case once, you know, these are people from all over the world. Yeah. So here in Vegas, they'll be like, okay, boom, you had 2 8 balls, $1,000 fine, take this drug course on. It's just money. Yeah. That's it. Just give us your money. See you later. All charges dropped. And I'm like, yo, in Michigan, you know, just on some dumb shit like that, you'd be hemmed up in the system for a minute.
You're definitely going to prison.
Where I'm like, here in Vegas, it's everything is so like laxy daisy, but I guess it's just because it's a party town. They know it'd be so, you know, difficult tracking these people down. Once you let them go home, they'd be off to the races.
Are they really hurting anybody but themselves? Like, if you look at it, bro, it's a guy gets caught with an 8 ball of blow. He's not hurting anybody but himself. He's a grown man. If you want to do blow, it's your choice.
Yeah.
Drugs are a choice, bro. Like, people, whatever we do in life, we made a choice to do.
Yeah.
So, you know, but a woman being raped or a child being molested, it's not a choice.
No.
So for someone to get less time for rape or molestation than a drug crime shows you how fucked up our system really is.
There's something.
There's so much misogyny in these laws that a lot of women aren't protected.
Yeah, did you? I don't know if you followed the UFC at all, but the Cain Velasquez, he was a heavyweight champion. He was taking his son, I don't know what age, to a daycare, and he was molested by a guy like over 30 times. And you know, you got his dad's the heavyweight champion in the UFC, and I don't know what happened or what sparked it, but the guy got released. The guy was released after being in jail for a couple of days.
Yeah, he chased him in his car and he shot at him.
Yeah, he shot at him, and he ended up
get him for
hitting his stepdad was riding with him, so he hit his stepdad in the arm, didn't kill him. People kind of wondered. I'm like, bro, you're the UFC champion. It'd have been a lot better off if you just grabbed hold of that fucker, beat him into the ground.
They should have beat him to death.
But I just think, you know, it was a reaction. I think he just randomly saw him, but I want to say he's been in, I mean, everybody from the UFC bosses to everybody writing letters.
But I think the mom was still with the guy.
Yeah. So they had closed the daycare, but he ended up getting Mark Garagos as his attorney, and he just got out after 4 months. They gave him a bond, so he's still fighting the case. But I'm like, he's out, but the guy who molested his kid, he's been out.
Yeah, that's how our system works. Bro.
Yeah, I'm just like, what?
A guy defending his kid in this world, like any father would do that.
Yes,
you know what I mean. It like I just said, he's lucky the guy didn't kill him.
No, that's
right.
But you know, you're supposed to protect your family.
Yes,
period.
100%.
Especially a child.
Do you think those people can be rehabilitated?
No.
Yeah, I always said of all people, you know, obviously drugs or alcohol, like after a certain amount of time, I believe you can. But I believe when it comes to people who are child molesters, once it's in their system, it's never. You know, you can say people beat them up. You put them in jail for 20 years. It's a disease, I think.
It's definitely a disease. But me, bro, I'm not one of these people that sit here and tell you, like, I think if you're a child molester, you should be executed.
You should be executed. I agree with that.
If I could choose, like, I'd execute you for them. Like, you're a piece of shit.
Well, and because just like we said, they are not going to change. It's in them. There's no counselor.
You're not going to fix them.
You're not going to fix them.
It's a you know, and then people are going to go, oh, it's a sickness. Well, you fuck that kid up the rest of their life.
Right.
Yeah. No.
People tend, like, in society now, bro, I feel, my personal opinion, that we tend to protect these child molesters. Even in prison now, they're protected.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's when I first went to prison, you didn't want to be labeled a child molester. You know what I mean? Those they would torture your ass. And now there's so many of them because of the internet, which is a blessing and a curse. You know, one of the things I realized since I got out, the internet is powerful in so many ways, but
gives people access.
It gives people access, but it also brings out, you know, the worst in a lot of people. They can hide behind screens and you know, you really don't know who they are, and they're these predators. You know, I used to watch that show To Catch a Predator.
To Catch a Predator, yep.
And Chris Hansen actually had a lot to do with my case. He was a big reporter in Detroit at the time, and you know, look at the people he was catching, cops and prosecutors, and
I was just gonna say he just did a recap this many years later. I want to say it was a year ago, and we had a kid in my high school, football player, went on to. He became a cop in Oxford, Michigan.
Yeah.
Just a good guy. And they did How to Catch a Predator. And he was a cop part-time, and he became a principal part-time. And he was bouncing around school districts. He was in like 9 school districts in 3 years.
Molesting kids.
They did How to Catch a Predator, the Chris Hansen. They got him.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my, think about these schools that he was in. He was probably hitting all these kids. And then when he thought the heat was on, he would just go apply at some other school.
Look at the shit they let the coach get away with at Michigan State, that Larry Nassar or wherever it was.
Oh, it was Penn State, wasn't it? Penn State.
No. That was
the gymnast.
There was Jerry Sandusky.
Nassar
was, I think, Michigan State or Michigan. Like, this guy molested these girls.
Gymnastic
Yeah,
girls.
bro,
Yeah,
like-
no, that was
yeah.
huge.
Years
man,
and
that
years
was.
and
I
years,
remember
bro,
that.
And they covered it up, and
Yeah.
like they're still trying to cover shit up. It's
That
just
was
sad.
that
bro.
was a
Like,
big organization. I saw that.
Well, you know, that's what makes me think, you know, like you hear in any of the music, you know, in these big music industries or movie industries, all this pedophile stuff going on. I almost think that they push that narrative, and that's why they're so light on these type of charges and letting this type of stuff go on.
If there was ever going to be a mandatory minimum for anything, that's where it should start.
Absolutely.
100%. I agree with that, because I mean I feel like those people are everywhere. You know, I don't even want to think about how many of them are probably out here in Las Vegas.
What's crazy about that Nassar situation was, you know, he was doing a regular checkup
Then he was molesting them.
and manipulating these girls because they're trying to follow the protocols for the gymnastics, or I'm sorry, the Olympics gymnastics thing. And then he was, you know, telling them not to tell the mom, and if they stepped out of line, they wouldn't get their opportunity to compete in the Olympics. It was disgusting.
Well, I think that's what most people do. I mean, even, you know, me thinking about this guy that I knew that I went to high school with, being a cop and a principal. I mean, think about what you can say to kids. Like, I'll lock you up. I'll, you know, suspend you, you know, whatever the deal may be. But yeah, there should be a minimum, definitely a mandatory for anybody who's on that child tip.
And I know that you do a lot of advocacy for people who are wrongfully incarcerated.
Wrongfully incarcerated. If you're overly incarcerated, you're wrongfully incarcerated. So recently I was able to help a lady get out of prison, Tracy Cowan. She was in there 19 years for a nonviolent crime. So
I think I saw that on your page. Yeah,
that was pretty amazing, bro.
So did you meet
her.
these people, or do people reach out to you?
Well,
now?
actually, I knew her ex. He was a friend of mine. He was murdered. And when I got out, someone reached out to me and told me that she was incarcerated. So we all teamed up and went to work, and it was a group effort. We were able to bring her home.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. No, I saw the video. That was incredible. So I know in Michigan, because I have a younger brother who did some time. He started out in Jackson. Did they do that with you? Is that the process in Michigan? Do you go to Jackson first?
Now you do. When I was a kid,
Yeah.
because we were so young, they sent us to Riverside Correctional Facility in Ionia. But now they don't care about your age. They put everybody together.
Oh, my
shit.
God. Yeah, so if you said you were 17, and when I was talking to her, because she didn't even realize, I thought I saw, and like I said, I know there's probably lots of parts of the movie that aren't correct, but you started doing what you were doing when you were 14. Was that correct?
14, 15, pretty much. But the movie, I've never watched it, bro. So
yeah, that's what I didn't. It was funny because I remember she said when we saw you in Detroit at your party, you know, she had mentioned a couple things. You know that.
Yeah, I have no desire. They twisted it and convoluted it so much.
It's Hollywood.
Yeah, but you know, when you work with someone for 300 hours or so, and me and a great, he became like family to me, Scott Silver. He's one of the biggest writers in the world now. He wrote Joker, and me and Scott worked about 300 hours together. and they basically took what me and he did together, and for lack of a better word, they fucked it up. So,
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I feel like Hollywood's always going to do that. What about Matthew McConaughey? I mean, was he a...
It was cool. He visited me in prison. I haven't had any contact with him after that, but came to see me in prison. But
Yeah, I was watching a thing. I mean, did you think he was legitimately, or most of the people that worked on the movie, did you feel they legitimately cared, or were they just treating it like it was another Hollywood movie, or...
no comment, bro.
No comment. Yeah. So, man, that's crazy. So outside of this eighth, what else do you have going on? So eighth is what? That's
the eighth is my brand in cannabis, but we also do other things with it for the community. Like I said, I'm strong on giving back. The holidays are coming. We're gonna do a big White Boy Rick community drive and giveaway, and all my friends and partners that support it. Mike Berry from MKX.
Yep. Shout out to Mike.
Gus and Omar from Exclusive, Prince from House of Dank, Justin and Calvin from Puff. There's so many people, and I'm leaving some out, but they all support me and do good things, bro. And there's so many people, bro, that I can't thank enough for the support that they give me. And if I reach out and say, hey, this is a cause I believe in, that they support me, man. And guys, forgive me for the ones that I'm not mentioning, but I can't sit here and run down a list.
Yeah, no, we actually, Mike sent us, when we were there, Mike sent us into Puff, and they really pushed her, they basically told her, Domo here, they're like, just take anything you want. And then they were like, hey, you really want to take this White Boy Rick's? And we were like, oh, shit. So they were really pushing you when we went in there. And what's this thing you said these are just coming out now?
Yeah, these are my new live resin disposables. They're coming out this week.
So there's no battery, no nothing?
There's a battery. It's rechargeable.
Oh, okay.
So, but it shouldn't die. There's a gram of live resin, real live resin, not cut. This is real live resin. So everybody that smokes it, post it, tell me what you think, but it's real. And then I have 10 flavors of fast-acting live resin gummies dropping as well.
And that's going to be the same thing, eighth?
Yeah, everything's under my the eighth brand by White Boy Rick, and a portion of all the proceeds go back to, fighting for people that are wrongfully convicted, overly incarcerated, or to the community. It's a decision that I get to make where we apply those monies.
Okay. I love that because my father was in jail, and he actually passed away in jail, and there was a lot of as far as the family goes and the whole system, the putting the money on the commissary and all that, it's
stressful to the family, and
it's costly.
Yeah, that's what's sad is, they take advantage of people while they're there. Why is a phone call so much money in prison, but when you get out here, you can get an unlimited phone for $50 a month?
Yeah.
But I used to spend $2,000 or $3,000 a month on the phone.
Yeah.
Even for me, I had to pay for the packages to give him paper and the stamps just for him to write me letters.
So basically, they're making money off of the family of the incarcerated person, not even off the person, because most of the people that are incarcerated, they don't have that money. So every week they're calling home, Mom, can you send me this? Dad, can you send me this? Or in, Domi's case, his daughter, can you send me this? It's not right, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a tough thing, and I mean,
and because now they have it's like you do it through the website. It's very confusing.
Oh yeah,
I'm a technical person, but it is very
another
confusing.
Scam in the industry.
Oh yeah,
50 cents for an email.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
For a free email.
Hey, dude, were
50 cents.
people? I forgot who we had. We had one of our homies, and this could have been, but he is in prison, and he sent me like an Instagram. I was like confused, but now that you said, some people get a phone in there, I guess you can get Instagram, or I was like,
yeah, the TikTok. I've been seeing them. They have the TikTok. They be showing them how they cook, or
you can actually Google like some people that they post shit out of prison, and if you look at the Florida prison system, bro, for me, it was the worst prison system I was ever in. Like, they beat people every day, bro. These guards are so sadistic.
Yeah.
And they let them get away with it. Right before I got out down there, they beat a lady and broke her neck, bro.
Wow.
Because she wouldn't clean a toilet.
Holy cow.
And you know, thank God some of these guys smuggle phones in. I know it's not right,
Yeah.
but they've been able to videotape the abuses that go on in there.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah,
but
it's
without
kinda-
those phones, they wouldn't have that proof.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wonder, they get the proof on the phone, and then how scary is it who are you going to take that phone to show them?
Yeah,
Because
I
you don't
mean,
know if they're going to.
Some guys take that chance, bro. Thank God they have the backbone to stand up and say, hey, I have this on tape, or send it out to their family and
shoot
get that
an email.
posted on YouTube and expose what's going on.
Yeah.
Florida's fucked up. The prison system, bro, is like it. Our whole system needs an overhaul, but Florida was a real eye awakening for me. Like what goes on. If you Google it, just recently I work with a lawyer out of Chicago, Andy Hale, and he's like this huge civil rights attorney, man. He's one of the best people I know. He helped me tremendously. And he just sent me something recently where they beat this guy, and he's like, bro, we have to do something about this. And, Hale and Monaco, out of Chicago, they're one of the best law firms out there for civil rights. He's doing good things. He just recently did the Starved Rock Murders, Chester Weger's story with Mark Wahlberg's production company. And this old man did 61 years, I believe, and he's innocent. What do you give him?
Yeah. What is that?
What do you give him, bro? He's 82 years old. He doesn't know what
Oh
the
my
fuck's
God.
going on in the world. If you give him $100 million, what's he
Yeah.
going to do with it?
Well, that's what I said. I don't know if you have or if it can be talked about. Do you have any type of civil things going on with
Yeah,
the city?
I have a civil thing going on. We can't really talk about it,
Yeah.
but I don't anticipate them ever trying to do anything for me. But at least I got to expose some of the wrongdoings. Bro, as I sit here, a free man, I can honestly sit here and tell you they lied to keep me in prison.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Like, who does that? If I could ask one question, I would just say, do you know what you did to me?
Right.
Yeah. No, it's I believe
And
it.
what age were you when you went in?
I was 18 when I went in.
Okay, so you're technically an adult, but you said even if you were 17, they would have still sent
I
you
was
down.
17 when I caught the case.
Oh, okay.
I was 17 when I
So
caught
they
the
didn't
case.
they didn't try it like a juvenile.
No, they don't
said-
care, bro.
Was there anybody in Detroit?
Kevin was 16. They charged him as an adult for a drug crime.
Wow. So there was somebody charged with you at the same time?
No.
No.
I was on that case alone, but Kevin and his older brother,
Yeah.
they gave his older brother life without parole because he wouldn't tell on his little brother.
Oh my God. Is there people that are, I don't know about, is there people life without parole right now on weed charges?
I believe
Did
there
any-
are
did any-
some left
did-
in the federal system doing life for cannabis.
I can't. I know they said, and who knows, but I know they said Kim Kardashian is an advocate for the people that I believe that are in there on marijuana charges, not drug charges.
I know she's helped some people get out of prison. That's thank God that she's doing that. That one lady, she got out. Without Kim, I don't think she would have got out.
Yeah. No, I mean, I
And
still,
now that lady is helping other people. So
yeah, I still just don't understand that when when a law changes that, how these people just weren't released. I mean, you're talking about presidents pardoning people. Why don't you pardon everybody who's in there on these petty weed charges?
yeah, they could commute all of their sentences.
Yeah,
They just choose not
because
to.
now the government. I mean, I know here in Vegas when things started going, the governors and mayors all had dispensaries.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how many people did you guys put in prison for marijuana charges prior to you guys being in the marijuana business?
How many of them are invested in private prisons?
Oh, yeah.
Michael
Talk
Jordan.
about it. Yeah.
Jordan has some.
Michael Jordan does? Oh,
Wow.
man.
Really? He's invested in private
Shame
prisons?
on you,
Private
Michael
prison.
Jordan, if that's the truth. Wow.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
That's definitely a
I don't
shocker.
know if you want to Google check me, but it's true.
Yeah, I met an attorney out here. 'cause
Don't
I
believe
was-
everything you read on Google.
I
I want
met-
Don't believe? Okay.
Don't believe
Yeah.
everything you read
Yeah,
on Google.
Google's probably twisted too. Google's like directly talking to the government,
I
probably.
met an attorney out here, and we were talking about the consumption lounge licenses that just passed. And she was a DA out here, and she was trying a lot of possession charges of marijuana. And she, it was mostly if they were a minority, like black or Hispanic or whichever, they would get the book at them on like a joint or like a eighth. But if they were white or related to anybody in office, she was being told to have them excused. And she actually stopped what she was doing to become an attorney to start to help change the law.
That's good.
Yeah.
Listen, in anything we do in society, there's good and bad people.
Right.
And there's people that are prosecutors. They're good people. They
Right.
want to be fair. But there's also people in that office that are, super sadistic and
Yes.
they look to overly punish people. So there's a balance, and you just hope the person that's at the head of that office can pay attention and make sure that doesn't happen. It happens more in inner cities than you think.
I think it's the same thing with police. Like I tried for a long time, I've never had a liking for them. And then, like now when I look back on it, I'm like, I do believe that there are some good ones, but there's also just as many bad ones. And I feel like they're too different. I mean, I had a thing happen to me leaving here a couple years ago. I was driving a Maserati, pulled out. I was sleeping. I mean, I was half asleep, really tired. And I had a gun that I kept hearing. I'm not a gun. I've shot a gun 3 times my entire life. So I had one that I would keep here, just because it's kind of a sketch area around here. And just for some reason, I'm like, you know what? I should bring that home. Too many people are roaming around and drinking here. So I'm like, I don't want that to whatever. So Nevada's an open carry state. So I had it sitting on my seat, and I pull out. I get pulled over by a gang unit out here. And they had brought in 1,000 more gang units because when everything in Vegas got really cheap, they lowered the hotel rooms down to like $30. The urban crowd just flooded us, and there was just wild shit going on. So what they said was these guys were sent in to violate you. So I would always hear a lot of my black friends talking about how they got so violated. Well, that particular night I get pulled over. They were like, hey, you have any weapons or whatever? And I was like, yeah, I have a gun right there. And boom, took me right out, searched my pockets, took my money. It was crazy. And I mean, these guys look like they're like 22, 23 years old. I'm 46, and I'm sitting there the whole time like, what in the hell is going on? I'm like, hey guys, I'm just leaving work and oh, how can you drive a car like this? And they thought I was in my 20s, and I'm like, what does it matter? I'm like, I rent these cars. And what was weird was I was told by my attorney, so it all got thrown out. I had 3 Adderall in my cup holder that I'm prescribed, but it's a charge because it's not in the bottle. So these guys tell me, they're like, hey, if you let us search your car and agree to a blood test, we'll let you go. And I'm like, no problem. I'm like, I didn't do anything. Go ahead. They had a van come up, and my attorney kind of laughed at me because he's like, bro, that was stupid. Like, how were they going to get your blood results back at that moment? So they did it, took me to jail, and wrote on there, suspected DUI. So not even, because I'm like, well, why are you doing my blood? And they're like, well, your eyes look red. Are you smoking weed? And I'm like, sir, I don't smoke weed. I don't do shit. And so anyways, the charge gets thrown out. The attorney's like, oh, it was just, whatever. And I go, well, I'm really mad. Like, I feel like I want to do something to these people because they violated me. And he goes, just understand they violated me. And then they played the nice guy role. And he goes, understand that their report isn't going to say what they said to you, because they're like, oh, you know what? You seem like a good guy. This is whatever. And of course, they said the gun was hidden between my seat and in the report and all this stuff. And, the thing that I couldn't believe was I'm like, I've never trusted police, but I never had a problem with them. But I told my attorney, I said, how can you go home and go to bed? When I told them, I'm like, hey, I have a 2-year-old daughter and a 17-year-old like at home. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not doing anything illegal. And, so I kind of wanted to take him to court. Like I was pissed. And the attorney was like, well, he goes, here's the problem. Their cams, they're not going to be on. It's going to be their word against yours. It's not going to fly. And then he told me, he goes, you know something? He goes, just so you know. He goes, did they look really young? I said, they look like they're fresh out of the military, real clean cut, whatever. And he goes, just so you know, he goes, these guys, they don't even realize they're violating you because they're brainwashed in the military. And then when they get here to be trained or whatever, they're telling them that that's okay. So he goes, don't believe that they did that to you. They just thought they're doing their job. And when I really went back and thought about it, I was like, maybe that's right. I mean, maybe in their head, they thought that's all they were doing, but I still, at the end of the day, they lied. Yeah. And I'm just like,
and you know if you're lying or not. You're not trained. Like we know right from wrong. We know when we're lying. We know when we're not telling the truth, bro. So listen, there's good cops and bad cops.
100%.
And you know, the bad cops, they make it worse for the good cops.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that's the part that I never understood. Like with me, with the police corruption case that I was involved in, like you would have thought that everybody would be happy, but when you expose so much corruption, they don't like that, bro. So
Yeah, no, I saw in some, they said in some of your hearings, or what are they called, to go in front of the parole board,
Yeah.
that actual FBI agents came in on your behalf, like still.
yeah, but most of them lied too. I mean,
Yeah. Okay.
I think one told the whole truth, but it's police corruption, bro, is like the root of all evil.
I can't
You know
even.
what
I
mean?
can't even
It's-
imagine the city of Detroit. Like I've.
Listen, I love Detroit, and
So do I.
they're getting better. Now, am I going to tell you it's 100% better? No, but I think they did a great job recently with police in the city. But there's a long way to go, bro. In these inner cities, there's a long way to go. And one of the companies I work with, their Team Wellness, we're big into the mental health arena, and there's a stigma that people don't like to say that they have, a mental health issue. So actually now we work with the sheriff. Thank God, they work with us in the police department, and instead of taking someone who's having, a crisis, as we call it, they'll bring them to our facility instead of, to the jail. Because at the jail, they know they're not going to get any help.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, jail. I mean, prisons have never jail. It doesn't reform you at all.
No,
I
there's no help. If you have a health issue, whether it be a physical health issue or a mental health issue, there's no help in jail or prison. Jail is worse, but prison, prison's a little better. They get you a little help, but in these jails, it makes it worse.
Yeah. I heard somebody, I don't know who I heard this from. Are you breeding dogs? Did somebody say you breed?
Not me, bro.
Now you?
I only adopt dogs.
No,
I don't
okay,
rescue
no,
dogs.
that's what it was. Actually, that's what
Yeah.
dog rescue. No,
Yeah, we try
about-
and take foster dogs and find them good homes, and
so how is that? How is it?
pain in the ass. But I love animals, bro.
Was it you that did that, or did your girl get you doing that?
I've always loved animals, but we actually just got a new dog, so we have 3 now.
Is
3
it-
dogs and 2 cats I sent home from prison.
Oh my god! So is it hard? Like I feel like, so I'm getting ready. I have an exotic bulldog, and I'm just doing a one-time breeding because I'm just like, I need to get my money back. These things are expensive.
Bro, people have offered me dogs that are probably worth $25,000, and I've said no.
Oh wow, yeah. So with the dog thing, I was dating somebody one time, and she was really into the rescue, and I don't even know if she was into the rescue, more so of wanting to post it on Facebook saying I'm helping out. But at one time, I had 9 dogs living in my house, and I'm like, this is fucking crazy.
I used to say when I was in prison that I was going to go to the dog pound and be like, just give me whatever dog you're going to kill next. Like, whatever dog's on death row, let me get them.
Oh.
And get them off death row. So,
Yeah, that's what I know. When we were doing the dog rescue, it was Nevada NSPCA, but it was a no-kill shelter. But that's
these no-kill shelters are so full, man. And recently I just dropped off some dog food to one, and we help out as much as we can. But, like, if I could say one thing, like Bob Barker used to say at the end, have your pet spayed or neutered, man. It's
Yeah.
big, man.
No, for
there's
sure.
so many animals living on the street, bro. And if you ask my oldest daughter, she'll tell you I like animals more than people.
Yeah.
So-
So do you ever is it ever an issue when you take one of these dogs in and you got to find it a home, and then you kind of found a liking to it?
Last year I actually had to put AC in my garage, and we couldn't use the garage because there was rescue dogs in there. So,
Oh man.
but pretty much I find them homes.
Yeah. But is it hard to, like, do you ever get attached to one where you're like, damn it, I think I'm gonna keep
I
this one?
just told you we have one
Oh
that,
yeah.
that we weren't planning on keeping.
Yeah. No, that's what I said. I'm like, I'm worried about having puppies because I'm like,
She's
I'm probably not ever gonna
she's
want
a
them.
hot dog beagle with super high energy, bro. Super high energy. She can jump up on the island. Like, this dog is.
Yeah, I can imagine in the city of Detroit. I think I always seen animals running all over, cats and dog problems.
Yeah, my
everywhere.
boy Hush, he was a pretty big rapper down there.
Yeah,
I think
I know
you know
Hush.
Hush.
Yep.
He
Shout
started
out to
DDR,
Hush.
Detroit Dog Rescue, and shout out to him for doing that. And it still exists today. Someone else
Is he still
running it.
doing music? Huh?
Yeah, loosely.
Okay.
He's
Yeah,
still.
he
I
was
think
pretty big
he
when
just
I was
dropped a
around.
new album.
Oh, that's awesome.
We didn't really touch on this, but I want to know, how do you feel about music?
I
Ever
love
since
music.
you've been out, like,
I love music. I
What-
mean,
do
like,
you like, you know,
When we went to your party, we saw who was it there?
rappers?
Stevie B.
Stevie B.
yeah, yeah.
Wa-
Stevie
was
B.
that your guy before
No,
you went in?
that wasn't my guy. No, but Mike hired him. But I love Stevie B. Yo,
Okay.
shout out to Stevie. But
No, it was crazy. We were talking. We were like, you know what? That shit was probably popping when he back in his day. That
you
was
know
probably
what,
popping.
bro? I mean, it was at the time, but I was more Run DMC, the Beastie Boys, LL. You know, African Boombada.
So now
Yeah,
we
yeah.
can make fun of Mike.
So
That was
many-
his
Yeah.
guy.
So many, but like the Detroit scene, I love like I Swear Vezo, Babyface Ray. There's so many people in my community. Trick, I love them. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
No Fly Zone.
These guys are you know truly representing our city, and I think our city right now, music wise, is one of the hottest. You know there is.
Most
Always.
creative, for sure.
I just say, man, coming from Detroit, anywhere else I go, man, just the real lyricist. Ain't no auto tuning and bullshit like that happening in Detroit. It's the real deal. Like, you know, I love Royce the 5'9".
Yeah, Royce is doing big things. He works in the mental health industry too.
Yep. I'm a big
So-
fan of Royce. Danny Brown. I didn't know him that well. When
Yeah,
I
I
was
think
there.
Danny Brown had something to do with the movie, if I believe.
Yes.
Really?
Danny
He
Brown
was
was
in
in the
He was
movie.
Yeah.
Oh, he was
so
in the movie.
Yes, he
Oh.
was one of the
Yeah,
he
she's
was one of the
her friends.
kingpins. So he's actually a good friend of mine. But you know, so creative. You know, he came up too in the dubstep era with like Flosstradamus. He did his track with him.
Yeah. Anybody from Detroit though, man, that's the real hustle and bustle. Did you know Trick?
I do.
Did you
I
know him
spent-
prior to going?
I did not, but I spent New Year's in Miami with Trick last year, and we had a blast.
Oh, I can imagine. It was
I
So-
can't imagine seeing him in Miami.
something funny, and this was weird. I was talking to him about Shu. She had an appearance out there probably a year before we were at your show, and we went out there, and so she got booked at Trump's, and then we did Trick's radio show. Shu hooked us up for it,
Yeah.
and it's still to this day the craziest thing we ever seen.
And what did he do? The twerking butt video?
Trick.
Oh, did he?
So I
Shake that, make the booty bounce or something.
So I got booked for. I remember my agent. He was like, "Yeah, you're good," because we were doing porn scenes, and he was like, "Yeah, you got this scene. It's a little different." And he's like, "It's just twerking." We were like, "What?" It's just twerking, but it was cool because it was a bunch of porn stars, and we were all like, "All right, fuck it, like we just twerking." Like,
If I could say one thing, like a lot of people don't really know Trick. Like I know him pretty good, and I think I call him, you know, a true friend. And if anyone loves the city of Detroit, it's Trick,
He's-
man.
Oh,
Like,
very passionate.
And he speaks out about, you know, doing good and foolishness, and I love him for that. You know, he tells people have a mind of their own, and a lot of these people, they don't have a mind of their own. They're followers, and they read shit on the internet, and they believe everything that they read. And
yeah.
it's
His motivational rants on
Do
Instagram.
you remember
are
there
hilarious.
was these kids out in Detroit? They're all wearing white T-shirts. They started a thing called Knockout, where they were just going out and they were just knocking out anybody they saw, man, woman, grandma, whoever. They would run up and just knock them out, and they were filming it. And so the police couldn't even stop it, and they actually went to Trick, and he had that shit stopped in one day.
Yeah, Trick
Like,
has that power to do that.
You know, and I mean, it was funny. So when she had an appearance, they asked her to come on his radio show, and so we go in there, and you know, Trick's in there. It's his whole family, and they're just passing blunts.
Oh, they
passing
did like 4
blunt.
blunts in a session,
Round.
but I was hanging in.
Yeah, she was hanging in there, and then next thing I know, we're sitting in his room, and it's just smoke. We couldn't even see each other, and it was just her sitting there. And she goes, "Where did they all go?" They all left, and nobody said goodbye. Nobody took a picture. We're like, I guess the show's over. I'm like, let's fucking go. And I mean, man, we were super high, but it was funny because Domo here, she said, Rick, she goes, hey, she goes, there's this guy on Instagram. And he seems like a really nice guy, just very positive. And I'm like, what's his name? And she's like, Trick. I'm like, oh, I'm like, Trick is a very positive guy these days. I said maybe back 20 years ago he was a little bit.
Shit. He like talks shit, but he also tries
But
to
in
give
a
you a
good
lesson.
way.
Yeah.
Right,
It's
right.
a life lesson in Trick's words.
I
Yeah.
love
That's
it.
what I call it.
I love it.
A life lesson by Trick.
Yep. And then when she said that, I was like, okay. I was like, so I knew two Tricks. Even though, I mean, you know, Trick was, there was a younger Trick and now a very wise
Hey,
Trick.
we all grow up, man.
That's
we all
what
grow
it
up.
is.
He's doing good things. Like I said, we spent New Year's in Miami at Marion, and it was one of the best times of my life, bro. So,
Yeah, and he's in cannabis too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Heavyweight heads.
Heavyweight heads, yep. So you guys, do you do anything with those guys?
They actually work with the team that I'm with Exclusive.
Okay,
So Exclusive is part of Heavyweight Heads.
cool. Okay, well, we just want to say we appreciate you coming by, Rick.
Thank
We're gonna
you so much.
wrap it up. We're glad you slid through, and we look forward to watching you blow up into this.
And where can people find your brands?
Yeah.
You can go to the 8th by White Boy Rick on Instagram, and we're all over, man. Just Google us. You'll find us, man. We're doing
Okay.
good things and big things in the community, better things to come. If you guys can, a little promotion for my boy Street Lord Juan,
Absolutely.
Street Lord Radio. So check him out. And,
Yep.
and the one person I forgot to manage to say something about in Detroit, Payroll Giovanni, young man, super talented, super positive. You know, so many of them there. I'm forgetting some. Sada Baby, they're all doing good things in the community, man. The Weed Bar and just so much good in our community, bro, coming together and doing good things and positive things that it's, Johnny Curry's out there and me and him have a long history together and he's doing positive things in the community. Little the legend, 50s guy, and we're all just trying to do good things, man, for our city. And the better we do for the city, the more foolish the people that said negative things about us look. So as a
That's
team, we're all
awesome,
coming
man.
together doing good things. I appreciate you guys having me.
for
And-
Love
sure.
it.
And where can they find you at, Domo Monster?
Domo Monster 7.
And you can catch me at Green Room Radio. And then how about you, Albert?
Mine's Albert Ramirez DJ.
Albert Romero's DJ. All right. Well,
All
thank you very
right.
much, man, and we appreciate you.
Yo, Las Vegas, we're out. 2022, MJ Biz.
Yeah.